Hey guys, Jared Beckwith here, and in today's video, I'm going to show how I use ChatGPT, a super intelligent AI, to code part of my medical device. Now, if you're unfamiliar with me, I work in the hospital as an EEG technologist. What an EEG is, it's just a patient's electrical brain activity, pretty much just their brain waves. So my medical device, my software that me, my brother, and my dad are making is to read these brain waves and display them in the best way possible. Now, how was I able to use this super intelligent AI, ChatGPT, to code part of our medical device? I'm going to go into some specific examples, but first, I want to explain what ChatGPT is. And better than me explaining it, I'm going to let a professor, an ex-professor of MIT, Lex Friedman. He was the one who taught me the fundamentals of AI. I just watched the free MIT lectures on YouTube, and then I bought the course textbooks. Easy, guys. That's how I learned, and he taught me the fundamentals. And here is him and on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about what is this ChatGPT thing.
GPT 3.5, which ChatGPT is likely based on. There's no paper yet, so we don't know exactly the details, but it was just trained on code and more data that's able to give it some reasoning. Then, this is really important, it was fine-tuned in a supervised way by human labeling. Small data set, but human labeling of here's what we would like this network to generate. Here's the stuff that makes sense. Here's the kind of dialogue that makes sense. Here's the kind of answers to questions that make sense. So it's not just using the giant wisdom of Wikipedia, and I can talk about what data sets it's trained on, but just basically the internet. It was pointed in the wrong direction. So this supervised labeling allows it to point in the right direction to when it says shit, you're like, holy shit, that's pretty smart.
So ChatGPT is essentially trained on all the web pages on the internet, or a vast majority of them, and it's also able to write code. So this is the first time in my human experience that I've seen code write code. That it's unbelievable to me, guys. Now, what is the specific example where we had this code write some code for my medical device? Because I got to be as resourceful as possible, since it's just me, my brother, my dad, and we have no revenue. We have $0 in revenue because it's not past the FDA testing yet. Now, the specific example we used is we asked ChatGPT to program us a low-pass filter that filters out high frequencies. Now, when we asked it to do this, it gave us the code. Even in the programming language that we were using, it gave us the code, and it was crazy because in our previous code that we wrote as humans, it was when you used the filter in the program, when you changed the filter, it would have like a 1-second delay. Now, the code that the super intelligent AI wrote, it was more computationally efficient, and when we implemented it into our program, changing pretty much nothing but the variable names, it was able to make our program change the filters instantly, smooth like butter. It was crazy. So when I was looking over the code that ChatGPT generated, I was looking at it, and I'm not the best programmer. It's more like my brother and my dad, but I was able to see all the things related to EEG specifically. Now, it chose a sampling rate of 256, which is super common in EEG data. It just automatically knew to do that. It took into account Nyquist theorem, which probably means nothing to you, but to an EEG tech who's taken the board exam, they'll know that Nyquist theorem states that when you're having an EEG signal, you're going to want to have at least double the sampling rate of what you're trying to display. So normally we try to display at least up to 70 waves per second on our EEGs, and you would need at least 140 samples per second to make that happen, or else you'll experience something called aliasing. And a way to think about aliasing is you don't have enough samples or dots to connect to make a high definition signal. Now, the more dots you have, aka samples that you connect at the end, the higher definition you'll get. You know, if you can have 256 points and then you connect them at the end, it's going to be way more high definition than 10 dots that you connect. You know, you're going to get a better signal. That's why you have to have at least twice as many samples or little dots that you end up connecting that create the signal in order to follow Nyquist's theorem, baby. So after having ChatGPT program the low pass filter that filters out all of the high frequencies, then we just asked it, now make me a 60 hertz filter or a notch filter. And it, boom, did it. It was crazy, guys. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Computers are making computers. Crazy. This is unbelievable. This is happening faster than I thought possible. And I'm pretty, plugged into the AI scene, or at least I have been for the past about 4 years when I got into it. And we got a lot of impressive things coming in the future. And this thing is open source. Anyone can use it. It pretty much levels out the playing field, guys. Education is the great equalizer. Now, you know what would be crazy is if we took this kind of technology and put it in our brains. Crazy thought, right? But it would be like a digital extension of your brain. So even if you didn't know how to code, you could code. Crazy. But that would be like 50 years in the future. You'd have to find a way to, connect it to the brain, which would take at least like 1 million electrodes. And the most electrodes we've had in a human brain is probably about 1,000. So it's a long way, and then you'd have to figure out how to do it. Yeah, but it's an interesting thought that could be happening. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my video on how I use ChatGPT to program part of my medical device. Now, it wasn't the whole medical device, but it wrote full functions that we are using in our medical device that we're submitting to testing to the FDA in March. Excited to see how it goes. And thank you to OpenAI, ChatGPT. You guys are helping me create my medical device, and it didn't even cost me a dime. So thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit the like button if you're interested in AI, EEG, even just my journey of creating a medical device. Follow me, guys, subscribe, and I love you. I'll see you on the next video.